everybody, welcome to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Fit Aid, the last episode of Dubs Talk the show. This season, the Warriors never had a lead in Game 6. The Lakers in control the whole game. They win the series 4-2. They will advance to the Western Conference Final, and now the Warriors trying to find some answers for this season and think about what the summer might look like. With Dalton Johnson, I'm Kerith Burke. Let's talk about the game. We're going to have a lot of time to look forward, and process everything there. But Dalton, from the get-go, from the first time out, the Lakers had an 18-7 lead, and we saw the Warriors shooting cold. What was your uh-oh moment in this game?
I think it came pretty quickly, right? I mean, again, from start to finish, the Lakers were the better team. Steve Kerr said for the series, the Lakers were the better team, that they earned the series win, but they clearly earned the win tonight as well. They hit on all cylinders. They made their first 6 shots, and the Warriors' offense just had zero flow right from the start. The Lakers were the aggressors. They asserted their dominance down low, and they made their outside shots as well. So right from the get-go, the Warriors were already in a hole trying to dig out of it, and they just couldn't quite get there. As you said, never held a lead at all throughout the 4 quarters. There were a handful of times, single digits, you felt like, okay, here it can come. But that explosion, that avalanche, just the Warriors could never find it.
Yeah, playing from behind in a hostile environment in an elimination game, not a recipe this season for the Warriors to win, especially on the road. You mentioned the Lakers started 6 of 6, the Warriors 3 of 11, and just in that hole early. Cold shooting might have been the story of the series for several guys. Definitely the story of this game. I added it up. The 4 Warriors shooters, their main guys, their scorers, Steph, Klay, Wiggins, and Poole, combined for 19 of 65 from the field, 6 of 32 from 3. And we know Steph Curry, again, the leading scorer in this game with 32. Nobody else had more than 16. That was Dante off the bench. So just a tough night for the Dubs. Steph needed a little bit of help, even looking at his night, you know, the way that the Lakers made that tough for him on defense. Steph, 11 of 28, 4 of 14. Just the Lakers' defense was swarming. Yeah,
this was his 3rd or 4th straight game where the three-point shot just wasn't there. The same thing with Klay Thompson. We know that. I mean, you have Steph, 4 for 14 from three-point range. Klay Thompson, 2 of 12. I believe this is only the 3rd time in NBA history that a pair of teammates have each missed 10 or more three-pointers in the same playoff game. Those are maybe 2 of the greatest shooters of all time. So talk about unexpected in a way to lose, obviously, right? You would expect, you know, we were all hoping for a Game 6 Klay. It didn't come. We all knew that Steph Curry might have to give the Warriors a 50-point performance like he did against the Kings. It felt like that at times, but again, he had some big quarters. That first quarter, 12 points. A lot of that was from the free throw line, though. He had 5 free throws in the first quarter. That was more than any of his previous games in the entire series. So he was trying to find ways to score, but the shot, as we've said, just weren't there for either one of the Splash Brothers.
Yeah, when it comes to Steph, I mean, we know he's capable of a 50-point night, but that just didn't feel reasonable against the Lakers' defense. The Kings' defense was different. I just don't know if that was possible against the Lakers. Also, breaking down some of the team numbers in this one. The Warriors shot furiously. They had 103 field goal attempts. The Lakers had 75. But what helped the Lakers was going to the line 42 times as we take a look at the stat comparison here. So the Lakers got 31 points ultimately from their free throws. And man, you hate to make it part of the story, but getting to the line was part of the Lakers' gamesmanship. They know that. They're a smart team, and they were successful.
Well, at the end of the first half, you know, you look going into halftime, I believe the Lakers were up by 10 points. They had outscored the Warriors by 9 points at the free throw line and had taken 12 more free throws. So already right there, they were doing what they want to do and getting to the free throw line. Again, you hate to make it a storyline. You don't want it to be an overarching thing, a dominant storyline. That's not what we're doing at all. It's just the facts. The numbers were right there. They were able to get there. And even though in the first half, the Warriors actually had more points in the paint. So I think that they were frustrated at times with it. But again, we talked about gamesmanship. We've talked about style of play. The Lakers used their style of play to their advantage, and it worked out for them. Yeah. I mean, the Warriors took 28 more shots, But the Warriors and the Lakers each made exactly 39 field goals. That to me just kind of says everything about this loss right there.
I pop it right there. Free throws did not come up post-game. That is unbecoming of a champion. That is not the story here, as you mentioned. But cold shooting, definitely one of those stories. And, we heard from Klay Thompson, who was really disappointed in his series. Let's hear from Klay.
Hey, Klay. Steve Kerr said that he still believes this team has championship potential. Draymond Green said he wants to return and wants to ride out with the same guys he rode in with. How much do you still believe in the core of this team having the potential to go all the way?
I fully believe that, and it stings real bad. It's going to sting all summer. But, first time in a long time that Dre, Steph, and I were healthy and not making the finals. So it's rare to be off during this time of year, but I can tell you we gave it everything we had, and it just stings. But, I believe that we have greatness in our future still.
Klay, coming into this series, you said, facing the Lakers, this is where your hoop dreams started, lots of time here in LA. What did you think about your road games here?
Well, it was awesome playing for my dad and calling game. I obviously wish I would have shot the ball much more efficiently. Probably had the worst shooting series I had in a long time. At the end of the day, though, I'm still on contract with the Dubs, and I'm going to use it for fuel to be better come next postseason. And it just sucks, when you give it your all and sometimes doesn't go the way you want. It's the hardest part of being a pro athlete.
Klay, you mentioned your shooting, and Steph didn't shoot up to his standards certainly in the last couple of games. How much did their size bother you guys? Do you think, not just the two of you, but overall, do you guys need to get bigger as you look forward?
I'm not sure. It's hard for me to assess that right now. They played very well. Anthony Davis is a monster down there, and obviously LeBron still got it. So it was just a tough series for us, and like I said before, unfamiliar territory being off this time of year, but I know we still got greatness ahead of us, and we just got to use this offseason to get right mentally, physically, and just improve on our weaknesses.
This wasn't just like, an abrupt playoff ending. You guys kind of had a bumpy season all the way to this point. How much did all the challenges that came dating back to preseason all the way through add to, I guess, the challenge of the whole season?
It definitely wasn't smooth sailing, and even for myself, I had a tough start to the year. Couldn't buy a bucket. Kind of ended the year on the same note. Pretty ironic, but I'm going to continue to work hard, and we did have a rocky season. It wasn't what we're accustomed to as far as, 67 wins, 73, mid-50s. Played for the 6th seed. We still gave ourselves a fighting chance. But I want to go to battle with any other guy. So I'm proud of everybody on this team. I'm real proud of Andrew Wiggins. He played with pretty much a broken rib tonight. Show what he's about. And we would not, be here without him. So just a tough one, man.
And Klay, obviously these games are really important for you. Did you feel like here in LA, did you feel like you were pressing at all just in this building being here, or was it just shots weren't falling?
I don't think I was pressing. I just think shots didn't fall. Even tonight, I got so many great looks. That's why it hurts, especially early. Got a lot of wide open looks. I don't know if that's fatigue, mental fatigue when I was shooting it short, but it's not the end of the road for me. I still know I have, greatness ahead of me. This is the first full season in 3 years I've had to make it through, start to finish healthy. So that's a positive, and I know I'm going to come back even better next year.
Hi, Klay. This wasn't a sweep. You guys won 2 games, and even you dominated some games. Can you explain the fluctuating scores?
I can't. It's just hoops. Teams make adjustments. Certain guys step up. And we just didn't have it tonight.
Klay, obviously, fall short. How do you get better, just generally as a team, to get back to where you've been, and how much are you looking for these young players? Do they have to kind of fill larger roles next season?
Well, you come to camp next year in the best shape you possibly can. You come with a fresh mind and the goal of winning a championship. And then as far as our young guys, it's a huge summer for them, just like it is our vets, maintaining our physical health. For them, it's just about improving their game. I mean, that's for all young players in the NBA, it's about adding something every offseason. So we're going to be dependent on them. And that's just the natural progression of team basketball, is just strength in numbers. Certain guys got to step up.
All right, so some pain and perspective there from Klay, saying that this was the first full season he's had in 3 seasons. He's grateful for that moment, but the numbers on the screen underneath him in this game are tough to see. 3 for 19, 2 of 12. And just thinking big picture with Klay's season, he had a rough October, November. Then the shooting came on. December, January, February, really great months for him. It was so nice to see him have his legs underneath him. Came into the postseason, it didn't have the efficiency that he wanted. So everything we know about Klay this season, what do you think his emotions are heading into the offseason?
I think when he talked about having it fuel him for the offseason, number one, I know it's cliche, but it does tell me a lot. That I think that you look at the core of a Steph, a Klay, a Draymond, the fuel that those 3 are going to have to bring this, to show what they still have. And Klay Thompson, we know he's such a kindred spirit of the ocean. I really feel like this whole season really, though, was kind of him riding the ups and downs of a wave, right? Where the start of the season was really tough for him, and he was trying to kind of climb that back up. And as you said, that January and February were 2 of his best months ever, right? And then I just think that in the end, his legs were just looked beyond more than worn out. I think the schedule of game day, it hurt him, it hurt others for sure, but I think that he's might be at the top of the list as far as players that it just hurt, and kind of ran out of gas. Simple as that. But a lot of highs, some tough lows. I think he learned some stuff about himself. He talked about that as far as the mental adversity as well. And you talk about the fuel to the fire. Klay Thompson certainly has plenty of fuel to his fire, and he's overcame adversity so many times in the past. I expect him to do the same thing this offseason, going into next offseason.
Well, what did Klay say about driving the boat? He said smooth seas.
That's right. That's right. I like
captain.
that.
All right, Steve Kerr, I think, really summed up the season well. But before we get to Kerr, let me just mention something on Wiggins real quick, because before Kerr even took questions, he wanted to give a special salute to Wiggins. He said he did everything possible to be available. He was playing through a lot of pain. Wiggins there for his team in the starting lineup. But as Steve Kerr explained post-game, he felt like this team was ultimately maxed out. Here's that full quote.
To be fair, I think this team probably, ultimately maxed out. I think, we were barely in the playoff picture for most of the year. So to make that push, to get there, to win an epic first-round series, and then, to give the Lakers, a fight in this series and have our chances, that puts us in the top, among the top, 8 teams in the league. That's probably where we should be. This is not a championship team. If we were, we'd be moving on. So you can look at the year in total and see all the ups and downs, and there was all kinds of stuff that went on and adversity that hit, but our group stayed together and competed till the end and made a pretty good run.
Steve Kerr stating plainly, this was not a championship team. And that's what we saw for most of the season when they were at about a 500 average. It seems like the team is coming to grips with that. Once they get in the postseason, they have hopes. You can't count them out. But this is not a championship team.
They kind of showed who they were the entire season. You win 11 games on the road in the regular season, 13 in total. This was their first playoff series under Steve Kerr without winning a road game in a playoff series. So, again, they kind of showed us who they were all season. But as you said, whenever you have those guys, you have hope in the playoffs. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. The Warriors who they were. And we know that there's going to be plenty of questions. But really, I think Steve Kerr just kind of said it best right there. With this group, this is who they were. There a reason that they were around 500 the entire season, a reason that they were a lower seed going into the playoffs. Yes, they battled their butts off against the Kings. They got through that. And then they just faced a bigger and tougher opponent in the Lakers.
All right, the Warriors want to be champions again. That's the spirit of a dynasty. What does next season look like? We need to talk about that when Dubs Talk, brought to you by FitAid, returns. How long is this core going to be together? Well, Draymond gave a little insight about his situation. We need to talk about that next.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on YouTube. I see you guys getting your feelings out in these comments. Shannon says shout out to Wiggs. We've got a little flex right there too. Carol just says, I feel sad.
Yeah.
Carol, I understand that. When a good thing comes to an end, man. Otis is in there too. There was a comment that I saw. Solstice says, don't know what to do with my life now that the Warriors lost. I guess I just got to make it through the weekend
Breathe.
somehow.
Take a walk. Yes.
No, but that's right. It's going to, watching other teams play in the postseason. Yeah, I'm going to have some feelings on my couch.
Right. Just not used to it. I know that there's been the little, brief breaks, but those were injuries, the play-in tournament, the 15-win season, all of that. And yeah, there were injuries this year. There were ups and downs, but you're right. When you have Steph, Klay, and Draymond, and you're going, wait, they're healthy. They're not playing in the playoffs?
Yeah.
What am I watching right now? It doesn't, just not used to it. It's going to be a big change-up for all of us.
Yeah, and Andy mentions get some set pieces on the bench. The starting five is still phenomenal, and hold on to GP2 this time. Okay, so he's locked into a contract for another 2 years,
Yes.
I believe. You're right, the starting five still has it. Wiggins got an extension. Steph is good with his contract. Draymond to be determined. Klay is due an extension, and Looney signed an extension. So, okay, there are some things that the Warriors need to lock down. That was a pretty quick summary.
Yeah, look at you go.
Good job, top of the head.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And then Jordan Poole has his extension kicking in next season as well. A lot of this, guys, in the offseason depends on what Bob Myers wants to do, and we're about to talk about that when we're back on TV. Hey guys, we're back on Dubstack Live, brought to you by FitAid. All right, so the Warriors dissatisfied with how their season ended. So what are they going to do about it? What do they do in this offseason? And I think that starts with whether the GM, Bob Myers, returns or not.
Everything starts with Bob Myers. We know he's such a centerpiece of the culture, right? He's someone that Steph can trust, that Draymond can trust. Steve Kerr said that he's a great friend, that he's a hell of a GM, that he wants him back. Obviously, we all know that. But again, I think that is the start to figuring out what's going to happen next is with Bob Myers. Of course, there are questions with the players, but he is the ultimate guy who figures out the chessboard, who can make things happen, right? Because he's not just a business person. He's a people person as well.
Yeah, there's an emotional
Yes,
component.
very
Trust.
much. Yes.
Yeah.
Trust is a great word to
Yeah.
use right there, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you lose him, you might lose a little bit of trust within the front office, within the organization. So everything starts with Bob Myers, and then after that, still some questions to be had, but Bob Myers is the first one that everyone has to figure out.
Yeah, so his contract expires, Bob Myers does, this summer, now that the season is over. Not sure of the exact date, but it is looming. They need to figure out if they're going to give Bob an extension. He's been the GM since the 2012-2013 season. So he has a long relationship with Steph and Klay and Draymond. Steph and Klay and Draymond, and I believe Steve Kerr as well, have all publicly said how important Bob Myers is to this team. I think they said as much as they could, keeping it in appropriate territory. But should Bob Myers decide to leave, and we don't know that yet, that will be a very big deficit for these Dubs, because whoever is next, that is if Bob Myers leaves, they've got to sort out what to do with some big contracts, notably Draymond Green, who has the power actually because he has a player option. If he opts in, he gets $27.5 million. And we asked Draymond, of course, what do you think your future is? How did Draymond respond?
He made it pretty clear that he says that he wants to be a Warrior for life. He wants to continue riding with the guys that he has been with the entire time. It says it right here, right? Where again, he says he wants to be a Warrior the rest of his life. At the same time, he very much acknowledged that he's a player option. He knows that it's not a secret to him, to the organization, or to us in the media. So he definitely has a decision to make. Player option, the ball's in his court. What's he gonna do next? As much as he says, I wanna be a Warrior for the rest of my life, that's not him declaring, I'm back, don't worry about it, right? There's decisions to make, and he's earned the fact that he can take his time with this a little bit. Of course, the Warriors wanna go, what are you going to do? What's our roster looking like? What does the money look like? All of that, right? But again, player option, balls in his court, we're going to see, because we talk about kind of the tiers of the decisions with Bob Myers and Draymond Green. That's near the very, very top of the pyramid right there.
Yeah, and those are two tight people. They have a lot of respect for each other as well. Now, I feel like if Draymond reiterates, because he has said this before, I want to be a Warrior for life. Okay, I believe him. I think he's coming back next season. Now, Draymond, as a businessman with an agent, with other people who might be informing him, maybe he explores. But it was actually really encouraging to hear Draymond said that. Although you're right, he didn't say the words yet, I'll be back. I mean, it was, an hour after tip-off? We need to give him some time to cool off. But it was encouraging to hear those words from Draymond. Okay, there's something else, an off-season priority. For me, it's an off-season wonder. What do they do with Jonathan Kuminga, who will be in his third season? This was a little perplexing that coming into the postseason, I think in February or March, we heard Steve Kerr say Kuminga was playing the best basketball of his career. He had solid rotation minutes, but look what happened, guys, in the postseason. Minimal time, DMPs, fewer than 4 minutes a game, or again, no rotation minutes, which means no solid role. How do you think Kuminga is feeling after this season?
Not too great, to be honest with you. I think that the biggest question marks as far as the future of the Warriors, and kind of, I don't want to use this 2 timeline thing, I'm done with that. But as far as the future of the Warriors, I think Jonathan Kuminga and Jordan Poole are the 2 biggest questions. And Jonathan Kuminga is someone who we know has so much potential, so much talent. But also, this is a former top pick who can feel like, okay, you're keeping me a little bit behind my other draft mates, whether it's playing time, whether it's potential, whether it's earning rights as far as money goes, all of that, right? So I think him and his camp have to have a lot of questions too, because I think it's clear that talent-wise, Kuminga and Jordan Poole have the talent to very easily be starters in this league. Are they starters on the Warriors? Roster-wise, it's very hard to do that right now, because can Kuminga fit with Draymond? Can he fit with Kevon Looney with that front court? When Wiggins was out, he was phenomenal. He showed that slashing ability, the defensive ability that shows a player that should be in the league for a long, long time. Now, is it going to be with the Warriors or not? It's a big question that I think Kuminga and the Warriors have to sort out, and they need to be just realistic and clear. Where exactly do you fit? Of course, you need to put the work in, and things happen throughout a season. But what are the expectations of where he fits from day one? That's something that the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga's camp have to figure out and be on the same page pretty early in this offseason.
Yeah, we've got JP, who's always going to be behind Klay, or at least that's the way it seems, or Kuminga, who's always going to be behind Wiggins or other guys. So as far as Kuminga goes, you have to wonder, how is he doing? Is he dissatisfied? I would imagine he is. Are his feelings curdling on the Warriors? Are the Warriors' feelings on him curdling that they really couldn't play him in the postseason? Why is the question that's going to come up in the exit interviews that will certainly come up when Steve Kerr talks. So yeah, some question marks here as Kuminga enters the third season in his NBA career. All right, coming up on Dubstock Live, brought to you by Fit Aid. Those exit interviews could be interesting. Dalton and I are going to tell you what we have in mind. Maybe in the YouTube comments, you can let us know what you want us to ask. And then maybe we need to see that dang corgi again? Okay, that's next on Dubstock.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. Fit Aid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Briefly, Hey, we're back on YouTube. Hey, I briefly lost the YouTube comment, so I hope you guys heard that question. For exit interviews, when we get to talk to Myers, Kerr, for the players, what kind of questions do you want us to ask? Please throw those in the comments. We'll take a look right there. And Dan, let me talk to my producer, Dan, who I'd like to say thank you to again for leading us this season, as well as our other producer, Flo. You got it, Dan. You got it. Do we have that corgi? That's stupid little corgi. We do. Okay. Okay.
Little corgi.
Okay.
My dog Otto.
No,
would
that's
never.
fine. Let's take a look at this dumb dog. Did you see the picture? Did you see?
I did,
Yeah,
yes, that was great.
What's this little guy doing? All right.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
give us your exit interview questions. Okay, you said we have 1 minute. Oh gosh. Okay, all right.
1 minute out of this break?
Huh?
1 minute out of this break?
Yeah, we only have a minute. I don't think we'll get to exit
the
interview
show?
questions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the show.
Wow. This one felt fast.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. I'll do a couple of them. Do you have a question? Can I just say, like, do you have a question in mind that you want to?
I feel like I had like so many things
That's-
in my
that's
lunch
fine.
right now. So hard.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
Okay. Then maybe we just talk about the corgi.
I can think of a question. I mean, I can summarize, I guess. Or I can almost bring up like my Steph question that I gave to him.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Draymond said the clock is ticking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Gonna reestablish.
Yes.
I was like, interesting. Welcome back to Dubs Talk, brought to you by Fit Aid. Look who I saw on the concourse, this little devil at halftime. Wait a minute. Now, this is the concourse corgi, okay? This was not the super shooter corgi that predicted the Warriors would win in 7. But as far as a corgi battle, this Lakers corgi goes home the victor. Look, I'm amused that he's looking back like, what? You see it?
Yeah,
What?
right, yeah.
Oh, God. All right, we asked you guys for some exit interview questions. This is stuff that we can ask Steve Kerr, Bob Myers. We don't have a lot of time to get to it in this show. Starman did say, are they planning to stick with the 2 timelines? Are they going to keep JP? Are they going to keep Kuminga? There's some intrigue about whether JP will be traded in the offseason. That's what fans want to know. What might you ask in those exit interviews?
I just think about Steph Curry saying that the Warriors need to reestablish themselves as championship contenders. What does that look like to Steve Kerr, to Bob Myers, etc.? Because again, this all should be about maximizing Steph Curry's career until the very end.
The word reestablish to me means there are going to be a lot of changes coming in the offseason. All right, thanks everybody for watching Dubs Talk Live, our final show of the season. We're back on YouTube in just a moment. Listen, here's why I don't like animals who make predictions. Actually, wait, do you remember the octopus who
Yes,
did the World Cup?
I do.
Okay.
I don't remember what his predictions were, his or her. Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
But I definitely do remember it.
Yes.
You know, it's fun.
Sure.
And I mean, we don't know. Maybe there was some little bit of video editing with the corgi. Who
Sure.
knows?
I don't know.
Right? I might want to talk to that owner one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a tease! Come on.
Corgis
You told us we
everywhere.
were going to get 7 games, corgi.
That's what I know. Well, that was the airbud of corgis.
Yes.
The corgi shooting at
Air
home.
corgi.
Not the
Concourse,
surprise, not the
concourse
surprise
corgi,
dog
air
at a-
corgi.
at a Lakers
No more
game.
corgis.
I was like, I literally did, like, I walked by and it was like, skirt! I walked by, I was like, what the heck? And I got on my, like, I was kind of kneeling down and I was like, give me a good picture, dog.
Yeah, come on.
And then he looked back. And
Oh,
he was like,
yeah.
You see the jersey. So anyway, listen, I know this is kind of silly, but
Yes.
we wanted to end the
gotta have
show
fun. That's what we are.
on a good tone here. We are going to continue the conversation on Dubs Talk, the podcast, looking at this game, looking at what might be in store for the Warriors in the postseason, in the off season. And yeah, just what does the future look like for this team? I want to thank Dalton Johnson, who this was his first full season on Dubs coverage. He joined us last season in the postseason. He got to experience the full grind. You've been an amazing teammate. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you too. You've been more than an amazing teammate, always making this so much easier for me. And this has been just incredibly fun. I mean, we talk about the YouTube comments, and to hear some of the same names over and over is so cool. To hear people watching from such different areas is incredibly cool. We have a great team, but I kind of a better co-host. So again, thank you. To even have the word amazing even thrown towards me doesn't feel right. So again, I just want to thank you again and thank everyone, because this was a really, really cool community in general.
Yeah, you're exactly right, community. People are watching from all over the globe. It's nice to see the same names in there. So thank you for giving us moments of your time in an 82-game season and a postseason that ended in 6. The Warriors did not make the Western Conference Final. Bummer, my friends. All right, we'll see you again soon. I promise. It will be soon.
Yes.
We'll be back with more coverage, or at least new podcast episodes for your ears. Take care.